How to use Slammer. Slammer is a very good melee tower that costs quite a lot. You have to be rank 75 and you need to pay 22,000 cash to unlock it. However, its base cost is 325 cash and both paths are able to stun. Now typically I would use Slammer when things are getting very crowd control based, and when there are also hidden enemies that are super tanky and they're getting past their defenses. What I usually do is on every corner you have to place at least one or two of these slammers, preferably on the bottom path, which is the stun route and the hidden detection route. A lot of people recommend doing this mainly because it covers the most space, and if you have them on every corner, every single turn that the enemy will take, they will be stunned, allowing your towers to deal more damage effectively to this enemy that you're trying to get rid of. This also works for non-hidden tanky enemies that are relatively fast, or any fast enemy in general. If you want to just take care of them without risking them getting past your defenses, all you need is a slammer to do the job. Now, sure, there are substitutes to this, such as Grenader and Golden Scout, but these are more expensive, and yes, Grenader can be a good way, a good substitute for this. However, it's just expensive compared to the amount of money that you'll spend getting stun route on Slammer. She's able to be placed in the masses and she's pretty cost effective. So when do I use the Grand Slam ability? You primarily want to use these when there's a boss or when there is a massive horde of very tanky guys coming at you. You want to time it so it stuns all of them and sets them all on fire. It's the one way where you can deal with hordes easily, and overall the Grand Slam ability is really powerful, so you should be using it when facing tanky enemies anyway. If you're in the middle of a wave and there are enemies that are still relatively high HP, do not be afraid to use the Grand Slam ability, because not only will it stun, it will deal fire damage and a massive blow of just damage in general. And you don't have to worry about the cooldown time, because I think it's around 5 seconds, and 5 seconds is just, it's not a lot to lose when you have a lot of these towers. Should I use this as early game defense? Not really. I prefer to use Slammer, in my personal opinion, later in the waves, when the waves are getting a little rowdy. I usually don't go for top path. Most of the time it's bottom path that I go for because of the stun, the early stun especially, and the hidden detection. And overall bottom path is just better for the starting out of these towers, unless you're following a strat like Tower Battles Nightmare, where you kind of have to start with top path, but that's besides the point. In most scenarios you're gonna be using bottom path, and only up until like a boss or heavy waves where they're just spams of hordes, then yeah, sure, go for top path. Now, are there any alternatives to this tower? Sort of. Grenader, that's pretty much it. Grenader is like the only excuse for a stun tower that isn't overly expensive. You are able to use Grenader quite similarly to how you use the Slammer tower, but overall I think that Slammer is just a better alternative altogether. Or not alternative, it's just a better tower in general, so you should be using Slammer more than Grenadier or Grenader. Now, just because I say this doesn't mean that Grenader is bad or anything. They both serve their own purposes and they're both used in different ways. So this is just how I interpret these two towers. So yeah, that's how to use Slammer. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe, like, and of course comment down below on what tower you want to see next. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.